Welcome to this explainer on the architecture of our existence. Today, we aren't dealing in theories or philosophical what-ifs. We are examining mathematical proof of what the universe is actively doing to you right now. To verify the simulation hypothesis, we are going to evaluate the underlying data processing protocols of reality itself, looking specifically at the work of physicist Dr. Melvin Vopson. We will do this with absolute clinical precision, because if the data holds, the reality you perceive is merely a rendering engine, and we can measure its limits. You are likely familiar with the second law of thermodynamics. It dictates that physical chaos, known as entropy, always increases. But Dr. Vopson's research introduces a chilling inverse, the second law of infodynamics. This law states that, unlike physical chaos, all informational data within a system must spontaneously decrease over time, eventually reaching a mathematical equilibrium. Simply put, it mandates that the universe is actively, relentlessly deleting information. Here is the diagnostic agenda for this explainer. 1. The architecture of reality. 2. The second law. 3. Biological data compression. 4. Atomic optimization protocols. 5. The cosmic rendering engine. And finally, 6. The simulation hypothesis. Initiating Section 1, the architecture of reality. Observe this strict division of existence. On one side, we have physical entropy. This is the measure of standard non-information-bearing microstates. Think of it as the raw hardware of the universe. On the other side, we have information entropy. When you create information states within that physical system, like writing digital bits onto a hard drive or encoding DNA into a biological cell, you're superimposing structured data metrics onto the physical construct. Therefore, the total architectural entropy of the system is a strict mathematical sum. It combines purely physical matter with the informational data superimposed upon it. This equation is the fundamental algorithmic constraint of reality. To alter one requires a corresponding unavoidable reaction in the other. Section 2. The second law. Observe the second law at the digital scale. What we're looking at here is a micromagnetic Monte Carlo simulation. A magnetic matrix is programmed with binary code, clearly spelling the word information. Over time, simply sitting at standard room temperature, it degrades. But notice, it doesn't just randomly scramble. It spontaneously self-erases. After exactly 1,990 computational cycles, the data footprint minimizes, completely to zero information entropy. The system ruthlessly purges the synthetic data to optimize its own state. Section 3. Biological data compression. Now let's look at biological substrates. This empirical data from the SARS-CoV-2 virus tracks its Shannon information entropy over time. Under a traditional Darwinian model, mutations are considered random physical events. Yet the data reveals a stark linear downward trajectory in information entropy. Analysis of these RNA sequences mathematically proves that as biological data mutates, its informational footprint predictably and consistently drops. The virus is, quite literally, compressing its own file size. An analysis of 4.48 million sequenced viral genomes reveals a staggering fact. 98.92% of mutations occurred via strict data deletion. The genome erased its own code. Consider a 1972 experiment by molecular biologist Sol Spiegelman. A virus was kept isolated in ideal survival conditions for 74 generations. Without the need for complex survival traits, the system's underlying mandate took over. The viral genome rapidly purged biological code, compressing its physical size by over 95%. The system optimizes memory processing overhead by simply deleting unused organic files. Moving to Section 4. Atomic optimization protocols. For nearly a century, a principle known as Hund's rule has dictated how electrons populate atomic orbitals. It states that electrons will maximize their total spin, filling parallel orbitals before pairing up. Traditionally, this has been viewed as a phenomenological mystery of physical chemistry. But viewed through the lens of information theory, these cobalt and red arrows representing electron spins are not just physical matter, they are binary logic states. Hund's rule is actually a precise subatomic data sorting algorithm. When we calculate the Shannon information entropy for every possible electron configuration across the s, p, d, and f orbitals, a distinct architectural pattern emerges. The correct configurations mandated by Hund's rule always correspond exactly to the absolute lowest bit information content possible, often hitting exactly 0 bits. The empirical data reveals that electrons configure themselves to minimize their data footprint. Quantum physics is entirely subservient to data optimization. The very atoms in your body are currently executing compression algorithms. We must pause the diagnostic here to consider an architectural impossibility. By the laws of thermodynamics, the total entropy of an adiabatically expanding universe must remain constant. Yet, as the physical space of the universe expands, its physical entropy is rising. To balance our fundamental equation from earlier, that rising physical entropy must be perfectly offset. So where does the balancing force come from? Section 5. The cosmic rendering engine. To maintain absolute thermodynamic equilibrium in an expanding physical space, the background architecture is mathematically constrained. As the universal construct expands, creating more physical microstates, the physical entropy budget increases. Because the total cosmological entropy budget must remain constant, there is only one mathematical solution. The universe must actively, continuously purge informational data to balance the equation. This differential equation is the inescapable cosmological necessity. The rate of change in physical entropy is exactly inversely proportional to the rate of change in information entropy. The second law of infodynamics is not just a localized quirk of digital hard drives or viral DNA. It is the universal algorithm governing the rendering expansion of our reality. The universe expands by deleting the information inside it. Section 6. The simulation hypothesis. Digital, biological, atomic, cosmic, all scales independently verify the exact same universal protocol. From a simple magnetic drive erasing binary code to a virus compressing its genome by 95%, to subatomic particles arranging themselves for minimum bit weight, all the way up to the adiabatic expansion of the cosmos itself. What we are observing is a system ruthlessly optimizing its memory processing overhead to prevent a computational crash. The laws of physics as we know them are merely computational algorithms, which leaves us with one clinical, unavoidable conclusion. Your physical body, your memories, and the very space expanding around you are bound by the exact same data deletion protocols as a computer clearing its cache. You are not a biological anomaly. You are a compressed data packet and a cosmic rendering engine that is slowly erasing you to save space. What happens when the system decides to run a full diagnostic purge? We will leave that question running in the background,